What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the House of the Conqueror. Sorry about the tech difficulties. I am Johnny B. Crazy, and I have my good friend and colleague, Justin Thomas from Top Shelf Fandom, on with me right now. And we'll be talking about Vikings Season 6, Episodes 1 and 2. The 2 hour premiere came on last night. And, well, it was pretty good. We have some things we can pick apart behind it. Apparently, the Roos invented hot air balloons. We'll get
Mm-hmm.
into that a little bit. But
Little
Justin Thomas, how are you doing, man?
good, man. Good. I'm tweeting this out, as OJ Simpson says on the Twitter world. And yeah, I'm excited. I've been on a Viking marathon, so let's berserk it out, man. Let's talk about the innovation of hot air ballooning in the Baltic states in the late ninth century, as we all know. So. Spin it however you want. That was a lot. That was only hot air in these episodes, so I'll tell you what. I usually get um, quite the issue with Hurst, but I'm gonna give him this one. He didn't earn his hot air balloon, but he almost did.
He's very, very lax with his history. I mean, to the point where it's almost you can't even compare it at all to the real historic figures. Not really. Maybe Alfred might be the closest one, but he's still off. You know what I mean? But with that, it's still we still enjoy the show. Wouldn't be talking about it if we didn't. So, but we're gonna knock it, critique it if we can. We are fans, and we're ready to get on it, man.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. I was talking about that on my my review about how, like, I don't know, like the expectations for the show, like it's not like it's a bad show, but everybody like kind of knows that it's got its like faults, but everybody like still enjoy. I really enjoy it.
oh, for real, man. Yeah, but I guess the first thing I want to get into would be, in the first episode, we have new beginnings. We see Ivar the Boneless going across the Silk Road. Well, going on his journey on the Silk Road, the famed Silk Road that we only got to see a little bit of, but I guess I appreciated the nod to. Now, with Ivar and him being a god, being portrayed as a god, I find this very interesting, even to how he dresses. I'm kind of going to say he's taking a Odin the Wanderer route in this season, and to where he's going to gain great wisdom, but also at a great cost. Maybe he'll even lose an eye. We see a lot of eyeless people here. I mean, just, I mean, from the beginning, the guy with no eye, uh, I'm a poet and didn't know it, but you know, he ratted on Ivar, the Roos man walking around claiming he used to be king, who he is. Hey, that's valuable. We see he didn't get too much for it, but he's not going to talk back because we find out Oleg is a little more than crazy. Um,
Yeah, he's definitely working as a mirror. I mean, they've even got articles that they've publicized speaking about this. It's definitely an interesting dynamic. I've not been a fan of Ivar at all. Like, literally, have had like no patience for him, and I gotta say, like, um, the actor playing, which I learned his name earlier, painstakingly, Oleg is very dynamic, and it's working for me so far. Everything other than all the hot air balloon stuff is working for me so far.
he is an intriguing character to say the least. And really quick, let me say hey to the chat. Got my hands full, so I won't be typing too much. But Sasake, what is good? Glad to have you here. Forrest Blurta, yeah, the Floki thing. She was talking about there was an hour-long special that was on History Channel before this premiere that was dedicated to Floki. Not gonna lie, I didn't watch it. If he died under a rubble of rock and we never see him again, or let's say Uba finds his bones, I'm not gonna be necessarily too happy about that. But whatever.
I did watch it, and I'll tell you that. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to tweet this out. That was much more of an Ivar in Floki, an ode to Ivar's relationship with Floki than anything. I wasn't in on that whatsoever. I thought it was there wasn't a lot of to be taken from that. Not a lot of substance, in my opinion.
You can't hear Justin Fandom Descent. Can everybody else hear Justin?
Check, check.
I hear him just fine.
Let's make sure. Let's make
May-
sure. Hold on. Let's make sure.
Oh no, Fandom's messing with us.
All right.
So
Oh,
look,
fandom, you.
Lady H of the North What is good? How have you been doing? It's so nice to see you. MackenzieLBurns, aka Sasa. What is good? We had an awesome stream last night. Go check out her channel. We're reviewing Harlots, which is a great show. Justin, if you've not watched Harlots, you have to
That
watch the
has
show.
Judith in it, right?
No, I don't
Yeah,
think
it
so.
does.
Maybe.
It does. It has the actress. I know
Either,
this.
either way, it's so good, man. You got to see it. Like, I thought it was just a chick. Dude, it is good, man. I'm not even going to spoil anything for you. You just got to watch it.
Yeah.
Uh, Matter of fact, Braavosi Broadcast, aka Fake Aria, turned us on to it. So thank you. Lemon chickens all around, Braavosi
As long as it's not
Broadcast.
too perverse, you know what I mean. I don't.
No, it's not. It's not. It's real. It's just. I'm not gonna say anything about it. Just go watch it. Just go
I,
watch it. Lady Laura Dane, Starfall. What is good? Um, but yeah, back to Ivar. Like his route as a character, I've read a couple of articles. A few people are like already they like Ivar more now
mm.
than they did, in all of like the end of season 4 and season 5, and you kind of predicted that, Justin. We were kind of on that boat a while back. This is what he needs. He needs a rebirthing story. He needs to learn from his mistakes. He needs to have some kind of remorse, even if it is a perverted type of remorse.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are rare occasions in which it does end up working out. When you have a character such as Ivar, in my opinion, I believe was written a little bit too heavy-handedly in the sense of a lot was handed to him. We are told how great he was. We are told how smart he was. It was a lot of telling, not showing. And I don't want to jinx it because there's always a hot air balloon in the fucking room. You know, like Hearst will always throw something at you, just be like, dude, what the hell? Like you're skipping 1,000 years there, like just something weird. But like honestly,
He's my best friend.
yeah, it's just like, come on, man. Like it this might mirror him in just the right way for them to get this, because it doesn't have to follow your traditional arc of like, as Bjorn had. Like he has a very like archetypal character arc. Like his route is one that is taken quite frequently, and these are cliches or archetypes or tropes for a reason. They work. But Ivar, I think they forced the disability angle in because he's never really disabled.
Look,
You know what I mean? Like, so
he's
they're like,
still walking around,
yeah.
right? And that's where you're going with that. And in history, he never did that. And I'm not saying they got to completely go by it. I think it is a powerful story to see him stand up, even if he can't run around. He's on his feet, defying what the gods have done to him, or whoever you want to curse for it. Probably Ragnar or something at this point.
I'm hoping that it'll come around that a lot more of this, at least in my opinion, a lot of the wrong that has been done to Ivar is in his head. He's a stigma that he has created. There hasn't been a lot of like, even Vitchek says it in in a past season. He says something along the lines of, I don't remember that Ivar, like when Ivar's, spewing all the bronze that have been done to him and all this. I think a lot of it is in his own head. It's something that he's like kind of just not. It's not really fabricated in a malicious way, but it's just due to his own insecurities. He thinks everybody, because really they've accepted him in this warrior culture with his like with arms wide open. Everybody, like, it doesn't seem like he had
Right.
to, there is no pushback. I mean, yeah, standing and all that when you can't stand. I mean, hey, I mean that's something. But there's really not a lot of external nor internal struggle, pushback on all that. So what I'm saying is, I think that he's going to be put in a situation he seemingly already is, that I can look at him and be like, all right, this is a human being that's making choices that I understand, or at least I can get behind him thinking he is going to need to act this way, also known as empathy. I don't need to feel bad for him. I don't need to support him, but I need to be like, this guy isn't a fucking human circus. This guy like is acting in a way that I think is sensible, which is like the connect you need to make for stories. So I think that it could turn out to be really good.
And we'll speak about this in just a second. His interaction with the child who is can't remember his name. I think it starts with O. It's
Uh,
traditional, but he's the real king or heir.
it's Igor. It's
Igor. I
Igor
got
or
you.
Igor.
Okay,
It's
I got it right
Igor.
here. Um,
Igor.
yeah, and we'll go back to that in just a second. But you mentioned something interesting as well, and we said we got a lot from Ivar, but we got a little bit from Vitzerk or Vitzchek. however you pronounce it.
People,
There's a
yeah,
few
it's
different ways.
yeah.
Um,
You're,
how do you feel about his storyline? I'll tell you personally that I think they're making him a little too crazy. Like he should have been this crazy beforehand and not he should have been this crazy before the battle. It was like a fast Daenerys Targaryen progression into crazy. That's my opinion.
Yeah, well, first complaint is motherfucker made me. Well, I guess I'm happy. Verbiage is real strong for a guy that's a hot mess. Compunction, and they did it without compunction. That means like foibles. That means like like I'm like, man, for a guy that's like being depicted as a hot mess, that's quite the fucking like you're stretching your thesaurus there, Hurst. But besides that, okay, I take Vitchek as somebody that is like showcasing the emotional strain of these battles. Like Bjorn is trying to take on the mantle of king. Uba is trying to figure out his place and his next move. Ivar's trying to rebuild himself and find. I mean, really now he's just kind of like on the end of a hook. He doesn't have much agency over his situation. He's gaining as we see, but my point is I think they're channeling a lot of the emotional trauma only through Vitchek. It's not unreasonable. He is a sensitive one. He is, in my opinion, one of the best actors. I spoke about this in my video earlier. I hate to regurgitate it, but spoke about the same show. So like in improv, there's two things that you're not allowed to do at Second City. You're not allowed to act like a baby, because people do that when they like get nervous, and you're not allowed to act drunk. You don't do those things because it's off-putting and it's odd. So my point is it's very difficult to depict a drunk, high, or childlike character. It's much more difficult than you would think to do. So I think that the performance falls a little flat, but I would give him a little bit of credit, because it's tough to pull off. I think people would think, oh, acting drunk, oh, easy. No, watch people act drunk on SNL and stuff like that, because they break that rule all the time. It's tough, man. So, but I think he's the emotional strain is what he's dealing with. But I do agree, it all seems to come at once, right? But
Yeah, I mean, and I would just say you got to go a little bit with method acting and just go ahead and get drunk. Might as well at that point. But no, it wasn't that. It was just weird how nobody really like floats out their cheeks while they're still drinking, blows their mouth. I don't know. Anyways, you can pick. I just think
it's unsettling. That's the point.
see, like we'll get back to Ivar because we talked about their friendship, and it gets a little more into what's really going on with them and what's budding with them later and in episode 2. But just going back to Vitzer, he's about to be put in charge of Kattegat. Am I right? And
Yeah.
how stupid is Bjorn? That's my main question for this show episodes.
Step
This
by
episode is
step.
how
Yeah.
dumb is Bjorn?
Well, good intention, but it wants to prove so much that he is not Ivar that he's forgetting to define himself. He's breaking cardinal rules. Now, yes, you can be sympathetic and you can show leniency to those that have wronged you, especially in this culture, and it could go a long way. But here's one thing you don't do: you don't take away any chance of retribution and then not kill them. Because if you have people that have no incentive, they know, he says he damns them and just lets them loose in the wild. He literally calls them ghosts. He has created a roaming band of marauders, murderers, rapists, killers in the very woods that his mom's about to stay in. But like, you don't take away all hope from people and then have them reside. I get his message, but poorly done, Bjorn. Like, you got to get people motivation, incentive. You
But
can't do that.
it's not even just his mom. It's
It's with
Uba
everybody. Yeah.
and Tolvi and his kids that he lets Uba raise for him.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, the hubris with Bjorn is just a mighty, but it's such a moronic hubris that it's hard to even enjoy his downfall, you know?
I said this earlier again, that when he's static, when he is like in limp, like when you see Bjorn not being wanderlust, when he is not in movement, he leaves a lot to be desired. as a human being, right? When he is static and you get a good look at him, you're like, holy shit, what a piece of shit. Doesn't like, especially this episode, he had the gall to like act like he was like invested in his kids. Like he's trying to play a part. Now, I also am going to credit them. This is my good graces for Michael Hurst. You heard me, Hurst. Hashtag fuck history. I think that they are writing him. This isn't bad writing. This is good writing. This is what this dude would do. You know what I mean? Like, he's not the brightest. The only thing I find odd is and I want your take on this, we will survive by trade, not conquest. That like is against his whole like ideology. You know what I mean?
Exactly. He didn't want to be the farmer. He wanted to be the wanderer. I don't know why he accepted the kingship, why he had to take that. I mean, he has options. He could give it up. He could give it to one of his brothers he deems worthy, Uba,
Mm-hmm.
probably. But then he goes back on that almost instantly when we hear of Harold Finehair being captured by Olaf. And when this happens, I don't know what it is. I don't know what kind of man crush he has on Harold Finehair, but his wife herself told him that, Finehair wants his crown. Why the hell would you go save him? Yes, he helped you, but he still told you that he still wanted that crown. Even after he helped you, he said he was still your enemy.
Harold is literally the guy that has showed up at the very first thing he said, and he said this to Aslog, that I am going to be king of all Denmark. And she's like, oh, that means you'd have to dethrone my husband, you know. And she was a little bit bitter at the time, so she was cool. But this guy, it's like if a guy knocked on your door today and said, hey Johnny, what's up, nice house, I'm gonna take this shit from you one day. You're like, okay, cool, you want to stay for beers for like 7 years? Like he's been very overt and very transparent in his goals, his motivations, and so forth. Bjorn, you know, it is what it is. He seems to be walking head first into trouble like a fucking bull on steroids.
He wants to die, man. He is subconsciously suicidal at this point. He's like, I want to have the most epic downfall a Viking has ever had. Like, fuck what Ivar has stood for. I want to be the dumbest king ever to live. This is Forrest Gump would do a better job. Pardon my, pardon my jokes, but Forrest Gump could rule Kattegat better than Bjorn. And I used to love Bjorn. I did nothing but root for him growing
Mm-hmm.
up and his up and coming when he went to Arabia or wherever the fuck he went to. Up until that point, it's fucking great. And then all of a sudden, everything he learned throughout his entire life down the drain. I think it's because puberty and, just all the women. He is the Genghis Khan of Vikings.
Yeah. Well, I think that, you know, the responsibility has been thrust upon him. I don't agree with the his whole arc for even yearning for this kingship. That came out of left field, and that was another issue. That's why I said I'm going to be really upset when Catherine Winnick goes, which she is. All of the staples, all of the signs that Hearst has he has a formula. He has a very uniform way in which he kills character. I think it's beautiful. I think it's very well done with the symbolism and all that. It's almost to a key, and we already saw sequences of that. I'm sure you'll talk about it in a little bit in this episode. But when she goes, because they're so, it's like Cersei and Jaime in Thrones, you know, like one can't move until the other one moves and so forth. So once they go, I think this is him just try. It's like, okay, he got a job as a CEO of some Fortune 500 company, but he's like a salt of the earth type of guy, right? And he's trying it out to prove some points and prove that he can do it, but he just can't, man. He doesn't have the tools for that, you know? He just is not equipped for it. What's up, Hack's
One
Dogma is there
thing,
too.
he's lying to his fucking self that he's not a bad person. He may not be like Ivar, but honestly, can you say he's that much better than Ivar? He's just as ineffective of a ruler. And what, rule through fear or stupidity? I mean, fear usually works better. It's not the best. And I'm not really defending Ivar at this point, but it's hard not to.
Well, it's
you
not
know?
pragmatic. Yeah, it's very stupid. He wants to be ruthless, but he wants to be ruthless in a different manner. You know what I mean? Like I said, the worst thing you can do is take away hope from somebody and give them no chance by literally branding them and throwing them into your society. You'd be like, okay, you know, that's a problem today. I don't want to get into it, but the lack of options that a lot of people feel they have for being rehabilitated or having any type of retribution, any type of chance at people forgiving them after they've done things. You know what I mean? Like, that's a problem in society as a whole. So you take that away from somebody, they got no other path but being a fucking ice cold
Hmm.
motherfucker. And you're like, okay, go play now. Literally, go be ice cold motherfuckers. You know, like it's like, but I didn't kill him. I'm like, yeah, you probably should have, dude. You
Yeah,
probably
well,
should
that
have.
makes you look weak as well. I mean, the least you could do is make them kill each other, give them a chance to enter Valhalla, something like that. Some kind of honor that, of course, there are traitors in your eyes, but Ivar was the true ruler at that point in time.
There's an argument to be said for them being bodyguards too, that, I mean, their loyalty was still loyalty to a ruler. And Ivar did some egregious things, but this is a warrior culture. I mean, who stands there without throwing a I mean, who there hasn't cast a stone, right? Like, it's pretty fucking bad all around, but it is what it is. He's just trying to be different. That's the thing. He's not. None of this is Bjorn. None of this is up this guy's alley. This is like putting me. I don't know. Like, I'm not good with like tools, and I
He
actually, you
rules
know what I
through
mean?
power,
Yeah.
like physical power. That's his strength. Him showing his prowess,
Mm,
winning battles. That's what he needs to do. And he needs to get someone by his side. Uba's not willing to fucking help him rule. Uba's got his own shit going on, okay? But he needs to find a companion that's not his wife, who I think is ultimately going to betray him in the end. Because one, Bjorn's going to bang that little servant. That's happening. So some more kids for Uba and Tolvi to
God.
raise. You know what I mean? And then also at the same time, there could be other females introduced into this, and Gunhild herself has only really married Bjorn because she wanted to be queen.
Yeah.
People forget about this. Her ultimate desire that she told in the beginning when we first saw her is that she wants to be queen. So you cannot forget that.
Yeah, no, no, and it seems to me that she knows that she cannot assert control over like his keenly hunger, meaning his lusty ways. So the way that she'll control the chaos. She'll allow him. You know what I mean? Like, you could see that already, that she's not going to be possessive. So she feels control. Like, like there's ways to maintain control just in a different capacity. She seems to be quite bright. She is opportunistic, but I think she's like openly opportunistic, so I kind of trust that about her. I don't see her as like the biggest issue, because honestly, whatever like a woman does to Bjorn, he fucking has coming. And I think, again, I don't want to be too easy on him, but I think that this is all for a purpose, because Bjorn cannot be the one that's sitting on that throne in Kattegat by the end of this series. You need to have him out of there, and Fine Hair probably will end up as king. And we need this to get to its natural progression. He's not going to be King of Sweden like he was in the sagas or anything, but he's a wanderlust character. He has all of the traits, all the skills, all of the motivations of that. He is trying to be something that he's not. I think he's trying to prove something that Ragnar couldn't do well, right? Like, that's the only motivation
Yeah.
I see, and I'm grasping at straws
Well,
for it,
I
brother.
mean, but honestly, I think, and I want to know what you think about this as well. Then him and Ivar could come to an agreement, could come to some sort of peace. Ivar did a lot of atrocious things, but he never killed Lagatha, and he never killed really anyone else other than Sigurd Snake in the Eye, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there is betrayal there, but Bjorn is forgiving. There's a lot of things that can happen with brothers here. Now, granted, Ivar may want to kill his brother, but I think what Ivar is seeing here with Igor, God dang it, I can't remember what's his name. Igor, that's his name,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, Igor.
Igor, damn it,
Yeah.
so many names, man, so many names. But what's going on with Igor and him killing his brothers like that? I think Ivar's down with it to a point, but I think it's rocking him a little bit, and I believe this relationship he has with the little king of the roost to be is going to hinge. It's going to make him rethink his life and maybe actually love his brothers again. I don't know, but that might be asking too much.
Well, no, it's right. I think you're on the right path because if Ivar is going to be sympathetic, empathetic, and connect with anything, it's going to be the way in which a child is treated. Ivar again, and whether it's manifested within his own head and it's all make believe, he feels he was wrong. But one person he wasn't wrong by was his mother. I would say maybe wrong in the sense of he breastfed till he was like 13, but he was coddled. He was, very much so pampered by his mother. And so seeing Igar be, just pretty much used as a tool, as a possession, as a pawn to keep power, as he was in the accounts. I forget exactly what it's not the sagas, what the Kiev's in the Rus accounts are. It doesn't matter. It's the bygone something. Anyways, in the accounts, they do cite that this was something that happened, that he was controlled by Oleg and so forth. And Ivar sees that he's not treated as like a child. He's not treated as a human, so he's being goofy with him and he's playing with him. It's definitely bringing Ivar this only road and path that's like not contrived or fabricated, in my opinion, that they could have they pulled on the right thread. This is a thread that's always been there, meaning his sympathy for children and his, because of his own situation. And I think that this is the thread to pull on, and this could unwind all of that pent up shit and make him see himself. Like, I talked to you off air about this. It's like, if you're on Tinder and you keep only getting people swiping on you that are fucking crazy, you might want to take a look at yourself. I mean, look at what he attracts. This guy's like, hey, you're just like
Right.
me, and he's fucking nuts. You know what I mean?
You kind of you, it goes back to the you are the company you keep, and yeah, Ivar's gonna have to rethink his life at some point. Saw in a preview him and Bjorn sitting on a battlefield with dead bodies splayed everywhere on a beach, and that could be giving his brother another chance. Maybe Hearst doesn't give a fuck about history, so maybe Ivar convinces the Roos to go to England and fuck up Alfred. I wouldn't really doubt it. But I do think the Roos are going to be kind of the end all be all till I don't know. They're going to be underlined because I think this year's main villain is going to be Olaf, the big old screaming prophet that is just insane. And yeah, here he's going to be crazier than anyone. So if he's going to be even worse than Igor, then fucking A, man.
Well, let me pose this to you,
Or
okay?
Olaf.
Olag. What you have is you have conflict with Olaf that's internal for Kattegat, right? So what you need is you need opposing forces. You need a force that will bind the brothers together, at least to some extent, and then you need a force that can be defeated by Harold, who is somebody that has been posed to us in a way that a lot of fans like him. I like him. I think he's got a sympathetic and empathetic. You have a perspective that's sympathetic and empathetic with him, and so you need somebody for him to defeat that is worse. You can't have Harold versus Bjorn, right? Or Harold versus any of the brothers. So it has to come down to them versus Olaf, and then the other conflict coming from Olag. So you have the binding force. The brothers must spawn out. You must be happy and content with the resolution being Harold in Kattegat, Harold in Norway, Harold sitting on that throne. The only way you can achieve that is making somebody worse than him that could potentially take it. That is your Olaf. So they will face off. The brothers will go their separate ways. You won't feel like they lost anything because you saw it. They're not going to want it. It's already clear it's not for them, right? They've all had their
No,
shot at
and
it.
Uba be in Iceland by then, probably. Or even, yeah, he's going straight to Iceland as soon as he fucking can. So, and then Bjorn's gonna be gone. He's got to run from his family. He doesn't, he
Yeah.
doesn't even want to pay child support at this point. And really quick, yeah, like actually, the Roos are Viking heritage that took over Russia, then eventually converted to Christianity, right, Justin?
No, man.
Something like that. I mean, I know it's a really
You
fucked
go
up
ahead and talk to some
history,
Russian
but
nationalists about that. If they,
whatever.
yeah,
That's just
the
one of those stories on the street. Is
the
that
Norman problem is they if they
yeah.
believe they're Slavic, that their genealogy is derives and was cultivated from a Slavic people. They don't like the idea or the speculation that Scandinavians had anything to do with the cultivating of their people. So that's it is they're taking a very strong route with it, and these are Russian actors. So it is what it is. I would say they did more than trade. They boned a little bit too. Sorry, Russia.
A lot, a lot. There has to be a Genghis Khan figure, and maybe we'll find it through this TV show. We have a lot of them. Maybe, just maybe, Bjorn will go over to Russia, and then we'll see what happens there.
I see him hooking up. I see him linking up with Rollo and going back to Byzantium or to anywhere in the Mediterranean because you need to get
What if he
Ivar.
goes to Paris?
He
Rollo
could.
with the "I'm your father."
He could. He could. You separate him. In the actual sagas, you have Uba and Guthrum who are against Alfred. Guthrum is not in this. Uba seems to be fascinated with
Hmm.
Iceland. We'll probably get their Greenland connection with Eric the Red. With him, unfortunately, even though he's the one that did settle East Anglia and he needs to get his ass over there because that's like the
Yeah.
primary goal of Ragnar. He's like the only kid that's done what Ragnar wants, and everybody's still pissing and moaning over the fucking
Well, I
throne.
think you're gonna be mad. Like straight up, Bjorn is gonna be the Ragnar now. I think. I think Bjorn, after all of this bullshit with the battle, did he not say he wanted to be betrayed? And Lagatha's gonna die. He's done set her up to die. He's killed her. He's essentially killed his mother. I think through this guilt, he's gonna want to go fulfill his mother and his father's dream. That's gonna be really powerful for Bjorn because I think he's gonna realize at some point he is just not cut out to be a ruler. I could be wrong, but I think it would be intriguing if he did do that. And it'd flip everything on his head. I know you wouldn't like it,
Wait,
Justin, but
wait. So you're posting he's gonna go to East Anglia then and take?
yeah,
Yeah, that's not
yeah,
bad.
Bjorn go to East Anglia. And
The
then, he just starts getting possessed by this dream again, just kind of the same way Ragnar did. He kind of went through a similar type struggle. Ragnar was a very effective ruler, though,
Yeah. No, I agree. I
arguably.
agree. No, yeah, I definitely. I think the all the motivation is there. I mean, it is literally up in the air. I would, if I'm a betting man, and I would bet because this is who for sure will go there, is Ivar because we have Chekhov's chess that's going to happen, the chess match with Alfred. So 6A is going to be all the Roos. I really don't like that. I really don't like that they're not having Alfred on screen, but I'm speculating that it's because they want a disconnect because they did
Hmm.
such a good job with Alfred. Honestly, like he's a very endearing character, and Ivar is not, so they need time to heal. And I'm just speculated on this earlier. I don't think they can share screen time, and it won't be till 6B, and then we'll have this disconnect from Alfred for when it needs to be like Blackwater. You have to watch it not knowing who you want to win. But I wouldn't be surprised if you have Ivar and Vitchek going against Alfred, and that could be because one of the other brothers, whether it's Uba or Bjorn, like you said, which I kind of like, surprisingly, goes to East Anglia, settles Danelaw, like what it really was, and then it goes bad, and Ivar comes in to help. There has to be some unity. It doesn't have to be with all the brothers, but I think that it has to be a coalition of at least two of the brothers. It would make most sense
Look,
for Vitchek and Ivar, in my opinion.
that would make sense for me. For Ivar's character to be complete, I think he needs to save his brother's life, at
Yes.
least one of them. It's not going to be Vitchek because Vitchek's just going to Vitzerk. Damn it, you got me saying Vitchek now. Vitzerk is just
I
sorry.
I
I go
stick
back
with
and
it.
forth. Um, he's going to hang himself basically. He's going to, we see that Bjorn is going to leave him in charge. While basically Bjorn heads the army to go save Harold Finehair.
Yeah.
That's not going to work out whatsoever. We've seen a little bit of the previews. He's just basically, well, I don't know. We don't see nothing in the previews. I don't think that's going to work out. Is Gunhild going to stay there? Is another good question. But Bjorn, again, just not making really good decisions here. It doesn't seem like he has trust in that many people, and that is not a good thing for a ruler. You're not supposed to trust people, but there's supposed to be people around you that you think you can trust at least, and there's barely a handful.
Yeah, I mean his history of rule is the imprisonment of Floki. There's some credence to say that he did help rule when Ragnar was gone for those 10 years. There's enough there's a semblance. There's enough morsels there to like justify saying that. But let's see. Westerosi Ninja says that Uba dies quickly in last. Yes, Uba. Okay, if you read the sagas, okay, Uba is Guthrum's like right hand man. Like honestly, if you read Guthrum's tale, you're reading Uba's. Uba is a son of Ragnar, supposedly. Guthrum never claims to be, and Uba does die before Guthrum does, and Guthrum gets baptized and so forth. Guthrum is non-existent in this. It seems like they're departing from that completely. And it makes more sense for Vitchek. He's the one that's most emotionally damaged, and like Johnny says, there needs to be the resolution and that retribution. I agree with you that Ivar does
Well,
need to, at least if it's not a clear saving. I like that. If it's not that, he at least has to fight with, right?
mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
at some point, I do feel like the two best friends, the two new best friends, Ivar and Oleg, are definitely going to butt heads at some point. They're too much alike. They're too vain of each other. I mean, Ivar considers himself a god. Oleg, the prophet. If you want to get into that a little bit,
mm,
this guy, he became known as the prophet because he had a premonition that his wine was poisoned. I would just say he's smart or has little birds like Varys, and this goes back to the magic tricks that you see Ivar do. Ivar's a sucker for sleight of hand and that Wizard of Oz type power, and he sees this in Oleg. This is why I think he's drawn to him so much. I think he's a little bit thrown off by the brother on brother violence, uh, but other than that, this is a man from his own heart. And what does
you,
that entail? I think they are definitely be at each other's throats,
so you
and it
think
could be that too.
so my take is a little bit different. I don't feel that Ivar is as taken. I feel that Olag's very taken with Ivar. I see
Hmm.
the immediate. I think that it's a little rushed, but I agree with it just because of the time frame we're dealing with. It's not really all that rushed. Right away, you're seeing like Ivar, like look at him, like dude, you're nuts. Like when he's hearing all the bullshit that is just being regurgitated come out of Oleg's mouth, he's like, "Holy shit, that's what I sound like." You know what I mean? Like I saw that right away.
Yeah, well, you better hope that's what he's thinking.
That's what you need. Yeah, no, it's. I think it works. It's not that. It's not even just the violence and the brutality. It is also like the well, first off, the way he does it, man. I mean, he's got moves. Like he's got he's got charisma. He's very like he really takes to Oleg. It really takes to, like when his brother is being killed. Like I mean, he's dancing. I mean, he's got swagger. Like I think
That's why Ivar was so pissed off because he couldn't dance, man. I don't know what your problem is. It wasn't the brother on brother violence. It was just really mad at that point in
it's like I
time.
wish I could move like that. Yeah. Yeah. No, he's a terrible
I
dancer.
was, dude, I really thought they were gonna have him dance. I really
Yeah.
thought Hearst was just gonna go all for
He
it
can
and
do the
just have him do
worm. He
some
can do
backflips and
do the
shit.
fish, like the fish where he just flops. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's that he's seemingly, because even Ivar in his monstrous way, and trust me, I think he's a cartoon character in prior seasons. I'm not saying that it was
Hmm.
well done, but he at least did show immediate remorse for Sigurd and so forth. I mean, Oleg's just like like literally dancing out of the room. You know what I mean? Like he is not like
And
it is pretty blunt.
he could have killed Vitzer a bunch of times. I mean, and yes, killed basically everything that Vitzer loved, and did even worse things for him. But I would say he's even slightly remorseful for that. It's hard to say though because his whole drive here is to get his kingdom back and get revenge against Bjorn. But by extension, that's Uba and Vitzer as well. So it's hard. He's got a bunch of a good amount of journey to go here. What, 8 more episodes? So he can definitely get to that point. But we're starting to see the humanization
And I
of
just want to
Ivar.
add in that it seems that his anger and his resentment of his brothers comes from a place. Again, I do think that it's mostly been manifested himself, but it is his feeling that he was wrong. This feeling that he was, cast out. He was, just not treated as an equal. Like, so there is this anger and resentment that comes that okay, it's not good, but I believe it comes from a place of like it might sound weird, but it does come from more of a loving place than Oleg, who's this pragmatic, just like chess pieces on the board, right?
Yeah, it's the love and hate. There's a fine line between love and hate, but fuck, I don't even think Oleg even hates. He just, it's a venomous, just despise, just this power hungry psychopathy. If I
Yeah.
said the word right.
No, yeah.
Uh,
It is more. It doesn't matter. They just happen to be Oleg's brothers, right? They could be any
yeah,
like it's just that's and it means to that. Like it's just
that's
like
it. They're meat bags.
yeah,
That's
neither of these
it.
things are good, but I think that yeah, I mean, it's just like when you love hard, you know what I mean, you hate hard or blah blah blah.
Look, the West Russian Ninja, aka Milt. Uh, I love your humor, you piece of shit. Oleg can dance while Ivar does magic tricks. That'd be a cool variety act. I would charge a bunch of money for that, and they could have the puppet show at the same time. Holy shit! What did you think about that puppet show? And I was sure Oleg would kill the performers at that point in time
Oh yeah.
because, like, they were just like basically slapping him in the face with his life, of what he did, the love of his life, cheating on him. I mean, they're his and Ivar and Oleg's life parallel each other so much that it's pretty almost unbelievable to be true, but it is a show. And this has to just be killing Ivar. It's like a Twilight Zone episode with this puppet show. I thought it was really cool cinematically.
Yeah, I had some flashbacks to Watchmen, um, with it. The two puppet shows in 1 week, too many for me. I'm a one puppet show type of fella. I thought it was interesting. I mean, yeah, the symbolism was there. I didn't think it was overdone, but I didn't take much from it. I mean, yeah, I mean, it did exactly what you said. It was driving it home. It was pretty much like these two things are alike, and then it's like and Hearst's like, do you get it yet? Do you get it? And he's like, here's a hot air balloon. He's like, actually, it wasn't in France in 18 blah, blah, blah. He's like, it was in the Baltic States by some Kievan, blah, blah, blah. The Balloon Brothers, two men that loved killing women, that had a thirst for adventure, and they liked
Yeah,
they like high altitude hijinks. They were scamps, lovable scamps. Yeah, so I mean, you can
it was
cut
the
that.
hot air eagle.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. You can cut that any way you want, man. You can call it a kite. You can call it. It ain't right. That's
get
just
off the
absurd.
ground for 100 feet.
Yeah, that's just craziness. Like somebody, I don't know. We'll see what happens. By the way, Jeb Stewart, I thought I was being too hard on him. Motherfucker got fired from Die Hard. Didn't even write the whole thing. Netflix had the movies that made us that came out this past week, and Die Hard was one of them. Jeb Stewart was on there. Bam. The whole part
Is that
about
why they hired him then?
no,
I'm
yeah, I don't
just
get it. Like that's like they're like at first I'm like, he just adapted Die Hard and then some pretty terrible stuff, and then he worked on The Fugitive. I mean, kind of a lackluster name, but I guess maybe he's somebody there to be like Michael Hurst. No, don't put a hot air balloon in there. You know what I mean? Like somebody, like, but I could do that job. Hire me.
okay. So Westro, how can you parasail with a balloon? It was a balloon. I will go back and freeze it for you. I
It was a
watched it
balloon.
twice. It was a
Yeah,
balloon. They can
yeah.
fill it with hot air, but you just can't keep the heat going, so it can only rise so far. So it's a hot air balloon that they parasailed with, but they had to put air in that balloon to get it to rise.
I guess they pull it and it like works as a parasail but it was like shaped like a. I don't know. I don't know the fucking
There's no
physics of it.
way. It was a spherical balloon. There's I don't know.
But there was
Whatever.
no heat generating. Like there was
No,
no. It was yeah, but
they
what it.
probably put it over a fire to inflate it, and then that's all you got to do, really.
I think it was supposedly just the momentum, but I call bullshit anyways. I mean, just fucking like make it a fucking like parasail, then make it a kite, like make it like some sort of a winged thing.
I
Then
don't know. Yeah, do something
don't
different.
make it look like that. Don't make it a fucking because that's not the ideal shape for that type
Around
of.
the world in 80 days, about to take off with
Yeah, why?
Ivar and
Yeah,
Oleg.
it's got like a fucking opening this big on it. Like, why wouldn't they just? Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna.
Jackie Chan's gonna make a guest appearance. It's gonna
Yeah,
be great.
it's like that'll be fun. No, everybody's like,
Get
yeah,
on
I
that
guess so.
video. I agree. I mean, this is what.
It didn't
Yeah,
ruin it for me, but I took it as that it was the same thing. Canes understand Canes, and I got my all puns intended. That Eckbert and Ragnar had a much more grounded conversation that was very similar, and it's almost like Vikings sail, so he can fly. I don't know. They're above the people. They're doing things that only kings can do. Only they can understand each other's issues and each other's drive. It's like this old, only a king understands a king. Only a king can talk with a king. And it's like, we're going to do it in this fucking
exactly.
bullshit. It's just like, I don't know, man. It's fucking
Well,
obviously on a green screen, too. Pretty bad.
look. Yeah, that was bad. I'm not gonna lie, it really made my day when I saw that, and then I saw your video. If you've not seen Justin Top Shelf Fandom's video about the two best friends that anybody could have,
Mm.
you got to go check it out. If someone could link it in the chat, please. But I don't even know what I was gonna say thinking about that. But I do you think that Ivar is gonna invent the dirigible and then invade Wessex, or what do you think is going to happen there?
I, I think that he goes. Again, you have two conflicts that are important to take note of. You have Olaf and Harold, which Bjorn is going to inject himself into. Harold will be the side that we root for. Olaf will be the big bad within Kattegat, within Norway, within Scandinavia, Denmark, I forget, within Jutland, where it's at. It's a fucking sliver of land, doesn't even exist. I'm sick of fucking making it something it's not. Anyways, and then you will have Oleg, and by the time that Oleg and Ivar get there, they're gonna be oceans apart, man. Like, you remember Bjorn and Harold, how they were clashing until Gunhild got up in that. It's gonna be worse.
They just needed to just bang and get it over with. Bjorn and Harold. Like, honestly, there's so much tension, and yeah, no, I agree with you on that. Keep going. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
You're on
you're
a
good.
good
I
roll
actually was
there.
watching a video on parasailing to see what
But
it looks like.
oh no, man, that's so totally you. Westeros Ninja says Ivar invents the Saturn V. Yeah, I mean, a Viking should be the first person on the moon, I guess, at this point. I mean, that's where we're going with this, right? I mean, we'll see that on Netflix. Actually,
yeah,
what's the
Vikings
name?
Valhalla. Yeah. They'll be the first person to they'll invent Boost Mobile. They'll be chirping people, chirping you, bro. But yeah, I mean, like it would make sense because I think that it's gonna be one of those things like nobody kills my brother but me.
Yeah.
And he's gonna have also like he's gonna become a human hopefully by that time. So I mean, Oleg is just straight up crazy. So it is important to remember that he was never there. That he just continuously, as his son does, sack Constantinople. And yeah, about the prophet thing, him is pretty much like what is that, Princess Bride, where it's like, well, but if you were to think I'm a moron, then I obviously would have poisoned my own. But I'm a
Yeah,
clever man.
like
Yeah.
my brother doesn't know what spies are, so I'm going to use those to figure out who he married because nothing's truly fucking secret. People talk. Shit happens. Somebody slips up every now and then. And I'm going to go back to this. We may see Ivar still be a piece of shit, and I just figured out how and why. Uh, the prophet, Oleg, is super duper paranoid. It's only a matter of time before he gets paranoid of Ivar.
Yeah, and it's funny because in that parasailing, hot air ballooning mischief, you see the lapse in faith. When he looks at Ivar and says, "You're not a god," like he kind of like in that moment of fear, it's like uh, not sticking to your guns on your deathbed type of deal. So that's an interesting aspect. But the seer, I'd like to ask you about what do you think that Bjorn's still talking to him after Ivar? I guess he killed the dead guy. So like, I don't know.
Maybe he's remembering something that was said. Is one thing I can get, but Ragnar had these types of visions kind of too. Maybe they're tapping into that, but Ragnar's were more visceral. It would be more of an experience. This was just like Bjorn accepting that he's a dumb shitbag that's gonna ultimately fail in the end. How do you think he's gonna betray his gods? Because you know Hearst is really, he hits you in the head with a hammer as far as foreshadowing goes.
Yeah.
So he said, whatever you do, don't betray your gods. I'm pretty sure it's going to have to do with his mother dying, don't you think? Probably his kids dying too. I think his kids may die,
I don't know.
and
He'd,
it's
he'd
his
have to he'd
fault.
have to take a fucking head count to know if one died or not.
Yeah, well, yeah, he'd have to know how he'd have to know who his kids fucking were
Yeah.
before.
He's like, I don't know. Maybe my kids. He probably just casted out a few of his kids, branded them. He doesn't know. I don't. As far as betraying his gods, maybe he takes on the role. Maybe somebody goes and gets baptized, like they do. Like Guthrum gets baptized, and then he sacks. God, I always forget. It starts with a K, but blah blah blah. It's where Wessex is. God damn it! Somebody's in here that knows it. Whatever. Where the court is in Wessex gets sacked at Christmas time by Guthrum, so he could betray his gods like that. I don't see that though. I don't know, betraying his gods. It's like it's so vague with the gods, and like it's a total like atheist like perspective in this show. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't see them going. It's so vague. I don't know. I just honestly.
It could be anything. It could be him breaking a rule of the gods. And Sasake says, or is it Sasake? Oh my God, I just had it right here.
Winchester, thank you.
Oh yeah, Westeros Ninja. Bjorn marries an English princess. That's my guess for betraying the gods. I
Thank
mean, he
you.
may. He's gonna completely go with it. Oh yeah, Winchester. Appreciate that, Westeros
Yeah, I
Ninja.
was gonna say Milt. I always fucking fuck, and I always think it's a K for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah, Winchester. Yeah, so they sack it at that time, but I don't know. Like it doesn't seem to be Bjorn's fight. It's like betraying the gods. It's like I don't know. Like is betraying the gods what he just did to like those bodyguards? I mean, like I don't like. You start really grasping at straws. I can't provide you with a lot of insight on that, to be honest. Like I think they kind of throw that shit around like a football in this show, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like what are you gonna like? I very rarely can put my finger on a time like that the series said something that then something directly correlates. Like it's always like vague as it should be, kind of like with prophecy, self-fulfilling. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't seem to ever be like a big
Well,
cat. I don't know. I'll be quiet. But yeah, I don't. I think they throw it around like a football, man.
I've got a theory, I guess, that I
Mm-hmm.
could put there. We have the Bjorn and Rollo saying that he's his father. Whether or not this can never be proven, but this is a seed that's been planted that needs to pay off at some point in time. We know that Bjorn is going to be under siege. What do you have if he has to make a deal with his uncle Rollo to either marry a French girl, or as a lot of deals in this century go, if you watch The Last Kingdom, uh, you have to take on the faith of Christianity, or allow a church in Kattegat, an actual Christian church there. Something you got to give a little bit to the
Yeah.
Christian faith if you are to use their army and warriors. And I could see something like that happening, like him actually accepting that help from Rollo, maybe uh, an affront to the gods, since Rollo himself is like a fucking devil, you could say, to pagan gods at this point,
Yeah, I mean
or
that's a
Norse
valid
gods.
point, and that's kind of what I mean by like it's all could be interpreted as like a slight to the gods. Now something like putting a monastery up. Now that would be big. That would be not throwing it around like a football. I would be able to put my finger on that and be like, that's what he did. But I don't know if we'll get something like that. I mean, I think in real history, that's something that happened, and like I'm not saying what you're proposing is illogical. It's quite the opposite. You know what I mean? It's very logical, so probably won't happen. But yeah, it just seems like I don't know. I mean, it's kind of good. It's kind of like prophecy in A Song of Ice and Fire. You know, I mean, like you can find ways to fucking fill in the blanks, but I don't know. Like, I mean, like what Lagertha's gonna die by a son of Ragnar, blah blah blah. I mean, like there's like ways to workshop a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I don't see like a big. I mean, yeah, Rolo coming in, especially after Lagatha is killed. That could definitely bring Rolo about, and bring him to his natural end as well. Well, that's a good
Everybody
question.
wants
If
to see
he's going to
Rollo
die,
again.
we're gonna
Yeah.
see him, but it's actually, I don't think it's necessary for him to die.
Oh shit. What if he gets exiled at the end? Like he
Bjorn
always comes back around to the beginning of the season. He exiled someone and then he gets exiled himself.
with
And he
no
goes back
hope,
to his training, living in the wilderness,
fighting
being
bears.
the berserker and killing the bear. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, whatever. He could end up like Jon Snow. Maybe Hearst would just copy Game of Thrones and
It's the second time
just
I've heard that
send him
comparison.
north of the wall, right?
Well,
I
I
don't
heard
know. They seem to be doing it. I mean, he's a dumb ruler. At least, he took the kingship. At least Bjorn took the kingship.
I've
You
heard
know,
that comparison as far as him helping Harold is like John helping the wildlings.
no, hell no. That's a
That,
complete different
hey,
thing.
hey, that's what some bullshit
Well, in my
fucking
opinion.
internet site said. So
Well,
that's
whatever.
what Den of the Geek said or whatever, or Forbes. Forbes still saying I still miss Ragnar. 5 reasons Ragnar left. I'm like, because he
Oh
was done,
yeah, I saw that
fucking
shit.
done, dude. Like the guy was done. His job was done. Like it is what it is. Get the fuck over it. Like, stop trying to make it something. This is the real reason
Well,
left. What? Because he was fucking done. Like, that's why. Like, because the job was done, asshole.
yeah, that's how his story ends. They had to go on through that.
Fuck you, Forbes
It
magazine.
it's
Honestly,
hard to do all these generations of shows. This is going to be the difficult when they do this House of the Dragon. All of these generations of show, you have a rollover of actors, you have a rollover of writing, and you have to not copy what was successful before, but you have to kind of use the same motif because
mm-hmm.
you don't want it to be predictable. So it's a really fine line. It's hard to do. So we're not when we trash Hearst or whatever, it's not that I don't respect what he does. It's not that I don't understand what he does. It's hard. It's just you got to call it like you see it. As far as when shit is just fucked up,
Some stuff's just like
and that's what we try to
egregious.
do.
Yeah, some
Yeah,
stuff's just like, dude, you're doing such a good job. Like, Vikings is a solid ass show. Like, it's a solid ass show. But like some of the decisions he makes, like, just seem like it seems like he's like an addict, but he's an addict that like does like he's addicted to writing like just like one bad like plot thread. You know what I mean? Like he's just like, ooh, he's got to get his fix, and then there's a balloon, and then she's not aged anymore, and blah blah blah. It's like he like gets like wakes up in a fever sweat and writes some bullshit like that just like kind of like jams up like you because I'd be all about praising at 100%, but there's always that 10 to 20% that's like fuck man, what'd you do? But yeah, Forbes. I just want to say like the people that write for Forbes are fucking idiots. Like they have been bad. Everything they do, like any YouTuber, it doesn't even matter. People that have like 20 subscribers could do a better job than those people. I hate their articles, man. In case they're listening, they can kiss my ass.
well,
Stick the
whatever.
money, you pricks.
You got that. Yeah, look into my brown eye, and tell me what you think. Stuff like that.
They said just because the story ends doesn't mean story ends. But they said that before. I was like, what? It's like, you're a
But
fucking idiot.
I'll go back to what the old ninja said up here because I want to talk about this. Keto, Keto, Flat Nose, or the guy who came back in Floki's boat, who we all thought was, hey, maybe Floki's back. No, 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 no. I honestly think he's turned into Jeffrey Dahmer. He's inviting people to his island so he can kill them. By the way, Epstein didn't kill himself. I don't know why I had to throw that out there, but he's really up to something. I don't know if there's any more people there or he's just this lone wanderer now because he was kind of left alone in a sense. Everybody was pretty much dying around him, or he's just made some kind of little cultish group of people he has on Iceland because they're going. He was trying to go back. I mean, if it was so bad, why is he trying to go back for one?
Well, who is okay? So what I've been trying to because what they need to do is they do need to bridge the connection with Greenland by the end of this. Meaning they need to okay. Eric the Red was casted last season and he was on set. They did not use him. They are going to be
What?
using him. Yeah, he has 14 episodes. Eric the Red. So he has 14 episodes. It's a Canadian actor.
Hmm.
So he's billed for 14 episodes of this season. I because I was doing that for Vikings Valhalla. So you have to bridge the gap between. So Iceland will move west to Greenland. They go from Iceland. They'll jump over to Greenland. Because they said Ulstaff. I don't know who Ulsted. This wanderer that he keeps talking about.
Right.
Yeah, and he seems to be like worried that somebody's gonna go there and like see what happened, and everybody's fairly like weirded out that Floki was weird. They're like, oh, like yeah, I like that they stopped short of them being like that doesn't sound. I thought they were gonna be well, that doesn't seem like Floki. Like when they're saying like, because I was
Yeah,
like,
I
that
have to spell it
absolutely,
out to you.
yeah,
Just
fucking
the
sound.
just the looks that Bjorn get that they gave each other when they were talking about it is enough. You know what I mean?
Floki
But
was weird.
first
Guys
likes
are
to
like,
spell it out.
what? He's like, I
Um,
was. So yeah, like I don't know
I
what they're
think the
gonna find.
Wanderer may turn out to be Eric the Red, possibly. That would be
14
interesting.
fucking episodes.
And it's right down to the west, right? So Uba's going to have to find this quick. So I'm predicting this big battle we get with Olaf is going to be done by next episode, and Uba and everybody's getting the hell out of there. Lagatha will die, not next episode, but the next episode, I believe, after Uba is left. After there's no one really there to protect her, I think she's going to die. She may keep the kids, and Tolvi may stay back as well, because I don't know if Tolvi's going to go with Uba to Iceland. Are they going to take the kids literally across the country? I mean, across the Atlantic Ocean to look for Floki? I think this would be more of a lone adventure for Uba, but I've seen dumber things
Well,
thrown
yeah,
out there.
yeah. I mean, you have to bridge that gap. Like I said, like so. What should happen is that again, Fine Hair shall be content, and we shall be content as viewers with the resolution of him sitting on the throne of Jutland. But you know, get it being the big bad of Scandinavia there, and because his descendants will be the kings that rule in Iceland, in Greenland, which will lead to Vinland and stuff like that. That's Eric the Red is cast out, and then Leif Erikson is cast out because of some disputes. So you gotta bridge that gap. So I mean, you gotta think Eric the Red is in 14 fucking episodes. That means you only have 6 episodes without him. That's a substantial amount of screen. I mean, I don't know how much screen time per se, but 14 episodes lends me to believe that yeah, that's probably going to be a good amount of screen time because they need him in there consistently. So we're going to see and it better be good, but there's going to be quite a bit happening there in Iceland for better or worse. I mean, just with that billing of 14 episodes, unless that's that's pretty solid. It's sourced right from the production. So I did my homework on it.
Yeah, I need to do some homework on it. I
It was
feel
for Vikings Valhalla, so don't. Yeah, it's just it just happens to be useful.
it happens to be useful.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I hope they play it out a little more. I hope Floki's going down like that wasn't in vain. But it seems odd, right, that they're gonna give you all of the Floki goodness and that whole special dedicated to him in the end. For him, see, it has me vexed whether he's going to come back or not. And if he does, I don't think it's going to be for very long at all. Or they just find his bones under the rubble, and whoever finds that temple, I don't know what it even means, man. Is there even a temple really under there? Was Floki just tripping balls on volcanic gases?
Fucking
Or
Irish monks, bro. They're fucking everywhere. It is what it is. I think there's a chance that fucking Floki's the Wanderer. I mean, like that they're talking about. I mean, who knows? At this
hey,
point,
maybe.
I said they can Deus Ex Machina his ass in the last episode, and I'd be content with that. I don't want more of that bullshit like they did last season. I will not take 14 episodes of that. I will not eat my broccoli and fucking say thank you. Okay.
Oh, we can't do it, man. It's too much self
Bullshit.
pity and just a bunch of people whining and just like, let me see how awful I can make it for myself. And
It's like it is a malculation of like Prozac on screen. It just feels like I'm watching like a story that is literally like the antidepressant or something. Like it's the tones are so depressing. It is literally like the embodiment of Paxil on screen. Like it just makes me feel bad. Like when I saw that, I was like, oh, this is just it hurt. It hurt to watch. It just felt bad. It did. It's all
it,
of everything
it
about it sucked. Like it was just bad. Like Honestly,
Really does.
my niece could write a
Um,
better fucking story than that.
does anyone have any questions in the chat? I'm going to get into the last little, I guess, segment here. And if y'all got any questions, go ahead and get them out there. We'll try to answer them. Uh, hmm. In general, I'll just throw out there, Westeros Ninja brought up how it was cool how Oleg in real life died. And it's all accounts confirmed that it was a snake bite, but his circumstances surrounding his death are very, very highly disputed. And actually, I think this is one thing Hearst may stick true to the venomous man getting killed by a venomous serpent. And I think we did see a snake in the first episode on the Silk Road. I don't know if that's any type of foreshadowing, but every time we've tried to say, hey, this happened in history, it may happen on Vikings, it has never fucking happened, ever, not one time that I can think of. So, um,
Um, yeah, I see them talking about. Well, okay, Oleg. Okay, but also Olaf in the show was the Viking that the Dane that brought Christianity. He was not Buddhist. He was, which you can be a Buddhist Christian. But anyways, not to split hairs here. He brought Christianity. Oleg did as well. Eventually, he spent enough time in Constantinople. He's, the Christ rubs off on you. You sack it enough times, you find yourself doing the sign of the cross. But yeah, no, I find all that interesting. Yeah, I mean, maybe, like, to be honest, like, it would make sense to do that, right? Like, that's it. But those are the easy wins that he rarely takes. Like it makes sense. It's just like
yeah,
I'm with it. I want it, but it's just like Ethel Red. Like his death was epic, and he dies.
dude.
Yeah, and there's
I'm
like,
sorry. That was one of the funniest moments of the year when I watched Ethelred bang his head off
dude, that
that
was
table.
brutal as
It
fuck.
was, and I'm sorry that I laughed, but I know it's a TV show and I have a really dark sense of humor. I mean, if I saw it in real life, it would freak me out, or if I knew it was real. But
I'm really
dude,
afraid of tables.
I love Judith so much, and then I don't know, she will be missed. I think she's very underappreciated as an actor,
Not by
as
me.
far
I
as like
fucking
she
love
was
her.
fucking fantastic, man.
She's hot.
Nobody you'd actually want to marry
Oh,
or anything
fucking
like
speak
that,
for yourself, dude. I am
but
obsessed with her. Honestly, like, she is
I'd be
everything I
afraid she'd
want.
kill me.
I don't care.
She's about everything I want. I just don't know what to, I don't, I don't know how to defend myself against her. I'm gonna take precautions and just like bend to her every will, I guess. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm down with that.
I could never imagine being married without the, like, high threat of being murdered. You know what I mean? Like I just, that goes with, like, without
Spices it
saying.
up.
It's like, get married, they're gonna try to kill you. You know what I mean? Like, eventually, sooner than later. So yeah, you just got to get your guard up. You know what I mean?
That's all you gotta do.
Oh my god, yeah, I'm all in, man. Yeah, I'm all about her. So, yeah,
Oh my
Ed Bird
goodness.
had some good taste. So did that Athelstan. So, yeah, she's in Harlots, man. That's how I know about Harlots. She is in that show. I guarantee you. She's got her hair dyed, in it. I believe she's a redhead. So,
Just bend over, huh? Okay, lady. Lady Laura, you guys are getting crazy up in there. That's what I like. That's what I like. House be crazy. House of the Conqueror. You know,
yeah,
if y'all like my new name change, let me know. If you hate me, whatever. I'll read your jokes about me on air.
yeah.
I don't care. What'd you think about this so far? Like, give me your overall thoughts. How did Hirsch
Uh,
perform? How did these actors perform? And
as far as
general
Oleg
synopsis.
goes, masterful performance by I learned his name earlier. I can't. They barely ever say it, but whatever. He also plays a Viking in a fucking movie called Viking. And he's in some vampire show or whatever. Dude, there's a lot of, like, fangirls for that dude. It just, when you search him, it's nothing but, like, weird videos made of all of his performances. So, but very good actor. Ivar, I felt like I was watching not a good human being, but at least a human being, which is like a big jump from before, where it was just like, again, like a circus. I was really intrigued by the storyline. Those two episodes flowed together well. Vitchek was a little choppy, but like I said, I'm gonna give him a little bit of a hard pass because of the very nature in which he must depict is by definition difficult to pull off, even by fucking um, Daniel Day Lewis. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
Bjorn, I think everybody's being like Bjorn's being stupid, but it's not stupid like, and they think they're depicting smart like it's been in the past. Like I think like they know. It seems to me like they got their hands on the wheel, and I think that they're really, all puns intended, driving it home well. I mean, I think there's 20 episodes is perfect. I'm so sick of seeing the real reason that Vikings is ending. I'm like, because again, it's fucking done. It's not like they're doing 6 episodes like game. Like there's 20 fucking episodes. It's 2 seasons. You know, that's more than enough. More than enough.
Yeah, there's what 100. There's going to be 120 episodes or rough
Yeah, I
rough
think no.
shot of
Yeah, right
of this
about there.
show. Yeah, how many more do you fucking need? There's
Yeah.
over 100 episodes of Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but we need more of those. That's a different genre and a different type
Oh
of
yeah,
show.
I like my milk steak raw.
That's
But
right, boiled over hard with jelly beans on the side.
yeah, no. Well, because of the implications. So I'm a big dentist. I wear a blazer. You can see I'm a big dentist guy. No, the blazer's good. So, but no, I really enjoyed it, man. I had a hell of a time watching it with the people over there at the Aftermath crew on a Facebook group that's really fun. Like good people, smart. And like I said, I had fun watching Vikings. I think that it's always been like that. That of course, you're never gonna get the days of yesteryear with Ragnar and Athel. I mean, those are
No,
beautiful. Yeah, it was beautiful to accept it for what it was. It's better to love than lost and never loved at all. Blah blah blah. All that sappy, but it's true. It's like it's never gonna be that. But like I get the
no.
feels when I see Lagatha's going. Like I get the feels. Like I mean, it's still something that's worth your time, especially with the state of network TV. This is the only thing that's worth a salt that's on network right now. I mean, fuck. I'd rather I don't want to say a bunch of. I'd rather do a whole lot of stuff other than watch The Walking Dead. I'll tell you that.
Come on, man. Like it's okay. Walking Dead is horrible.
Yeah, no,
Just let everybody know.
yeah,
All
no.
right,
I'm just
let
saying you're stupid if you like it. No, I'm joking.
I apologize for the technical difficulties, everyone. We'll have the good visuals back next week, and I'll just regurgitate some stuff if you didn't see earlier. But I appreciate y'all coming out. Let me give a shout out to my patrons because y'all are awesome, and we got a new one, Dee Dee Lee. You the man. Appreciate it, and all my other patrons: Amy True, Anime Lover Nicole, Bobby Catalano, Catherine Cronin, Catherine Harding, Clarissa Thompson, Dark Mother, John St. Baptiste, KCC of House Lorebridge, Katrin C. from My Point of View, Nancy T., Santivia Major, Steve York, and the podcast.com, that family of podcasts. Holy ball sacks, guys. This has been really fun. Not gonna lie, the doctor said I need a necchiotomy. I'm gonna
It
gonna
sounds
hang up here.
that
I'm
sounds
gonna
sexy.
go.
That sounds like a very
Yeah,
sexy. Sir, you're diagnosed with an extremely sexy situation. That's like having Pontiac fever. No, that is a serious thing. No, sacrificial rites were sexual in nature and involved a great deal of strong drink. Vikings.
you don't know what they want to. You don't know what they want. You don't want to know what they did with the Blood Eagle after the guy was dead. I'll
Uh,
just say that much.
I got
Necromancy.
I got double blood eagled by
Lore.
yeah.
Telling you what,
Yeah.
you know.
So yeah, make
I
sure to
don't know what to
support
say
me
anymore,
too.
but yeah, peace.
I got that Patreon and all that. So, no, yeah, it's a pleasure coming on, man. I hope that they put you back together, like Robo fucking Cop. You're falling to pieces over there, brother.
I'm dead. I'm dead inside.
You're gonna find
But it's
yourself.
all good.
Well, if you get handicapped, maybe you'll be handicapped like Ivar is, which is not. It's like I can't walk unless I do. You'll never walk again unless you want to. You're
Well,
like,
my
okay,
brother won't be happy about that, but you
yeah,
know, I'll
no,
let him know to defend him.
you gotta
He
fucking kill
actually
brothers.
looks like Bjorn. It's kind of hilarious.
Old
Um,
Bjorn, like I mean, like young Bjorn that's not disgusting, or like a guy that grows worse beard than me.
the guy that grows worse beard than you.
Yeah, he's like, how's this horrible? And he's like, great. I'm gonna spit all over myself and just sex every woman on screen. They're like, perfect, perfect. Yeah, he's digressed. I argue with people that said his performance has gotten better. I'll let it go at that. But like it's not terrible.
Yeah,
But
I don't know what it is. Like
it's
even
just
his
disgusting.
mannerisms, it's like he's trying to be Ragnar, and that's just not who he is. Like, you can't pull off the Travis Fimmel like herky jerky weird moves. That's what
No,
he's trying to do, and he's like,
those subtleties, those eye rolls of Ragnar. My favorite line is when he says to Athelwolf, "I don't like you." After they go to Mercia and they're having drinks at the hall, and he's like, Athelwolf walks up to him, he's like, "Brother," and he goes, "I don't like you," and then like keeps walking. But yeah, he's very quirky. He's a weird dude. But yeah, I talked to my brother about this. I'll leave it at that. He's like, "What's your problem with Bjorn?" I'm like, "There's like being grotesque like on screen, and then there's just straight up being gross. Like he like it's always spitting and it's like caught in his beard. Like it's just like nasty." Like there's nasty for screen and there's just disgusting. Like if I was on set, I'd be like, have some fucking dignity, dude. You're supposed to be like a fucking brute, not like a slovenly glutton piece of shit. Like it's hard to watch him. Like he's
"It
disgusting.
is. It
Yeah.
can
And I
be.
know
It
that he
can
can probably
be."
score way more girls than me and all that, and he's actually a handsome dude. But man, is he just finds a way to be foul. That's just like not there's again, it's just being
Maybe
movie
Hearst
foul.
is telling him like, "Hey man, you gotta like make people really fucking hate you." Be like,
Yeah. He's like, I'll just spit
I
all
don't
over
know.
myself. He's like, yeah, spit all over your weird little beard thing. He's like, perfect, man. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
everybody, we gotta get out of here. Thank you so much, Justin. And next week we will have Mackenzie L. Burns on, and hopefully Braavosi Broadcast when she catches up. So maybe it'll
Mackenzie's a
be
real
next week. We'll
seer.
see.
She's a
So
real seer.
we'll
So,
have the seer Mackenzie L.
uh,
Burns on next week. So
all right,
we'll
change your
see you
stream key.
guys on the next one, and I'll do it. I'll change my stream P. Bye.
I'm going to stream on
My
this later.
sister, she's down in the mountain. Gotta go save her. All right, bye.